Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, thank you for the support. I really do appreciate that. So today I'm going to be playing with Running Free, which did come through my door yesterday. I am super happy about the kit. It's a beautiful kit, matte-tastic, just lovely images, and horses totally my bag. What I'm not happy about is because the post came at 2:30 yesterday, and we weren't expecting it, with it being on a Sunday. I didn't have any of the gates up, and Henry did get to it, and he did really ruin quite a lot of it. I mean, luckily it's cardstock and I can cut around and use the bits that I can, and also luckily he didn't get any of the toppers or the actual book, but he did take a really big chomp into the inserts and some of the cardstock, unfortunately, and on some bits it is on the good bit with the image. So I was devastated about that, but you know, the post is the post, Henry's Henry, so we just have to make the best of it. Anyway, I've got two cards for you today, I think, and I'm going to be using this one, which is Trust the Unknown. So you do get two of every image, and then I've got the printed cardstock and the beautiful foiled one. So we're going to be having a play with that. The first card I'm going to do is pretty simple, straightforward. The second card, I've got an idea for it. To be honest, I don't know how it's going to go, because in my head it looks fantastic. But we'll see how that goes when we get to that one. So I'm going to do the easier one first of all, and then we will take it from there. So as usual, I'm starting with a 6x12 card blank 300 GSM white card, and I'm scoring at 3 and 6 because I'm making a foldback card. So we're just going to give that a burnish down, and then folding that back like so. So we'll pop that out of the way. And then I'm going to bring in my cutter. I'm still working my way through the 6x6 mirror mats, so I am going to pop two out. So I'm just going to take 2 notches off all the way around. If you want to keep it so that it's covering up the white card, obviously you do that. I like to have that little white rim going around my card, that sort of extra layer. So put that one there. Then I'm going to cut this one at 2 notches under the 3, 2 notches under the 6 for the front. You've got some lovely little thin borders there if you want them. That one should go onto the front there quite nicely. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the foiled one. So I'm going to be using this horse one for the base on here. So for this one we're going to cut it to 4 notches under the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 notches under the 6. So I'm just going to check that looks okay on there. And we've got beautiful fine border all the way through. So for this piece, because I want to save this for my next card, or at least the bigger piece, I'm going to bring in the 8x8 paper pad, and if I scoot through to the, no, it's not that one, it's a similar image. There we go. And we've got the sort of brown pattern on the back, so I'm using it for the paper side. And again, this is all matte-tastic as well. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Oops, there goes my glue. Right, so this piece we need to cut. I'm hoping this is going to cut it nicely. 1, 2, 3, 4 notches under the 3. Just go nice and slowly, and 4 notches under the 6. And that should fit quite nicely onto there. like so. So that's how our card is looking at the moment. So let's pop those aside. And then for this panel here, I was trying to decide, I wanted something on it. So I found this black cord, and I also found this sort of grainy cream ribbon. Now my feeling was that the ribbon would make it, though it's not very shiny ribbon, it might make it a bit more feminine. So I think I'm probably going to go with the black string. So because this is the paper, and because my glues, I don't think glue it really well, what I'm going to do is bring in the thing I just buried. Where have I buried it? Ah, there it is. The Crafter's Companion pen, tape pen. This is the dotty one. If you've got the straight edge one, you can use that. I found on the last cards I made that this does glue the paper really well. The all-purpose glue that I use, it also glues it very well, but what I did find was sometimes after a while when you sort of flex the card, you've got a cracking sound. Then this has only ever happened to me with the paper, so I'm not quite sure whether I'd not pressed it down properly or what. But since I've been using the tape pen, and I think if you use the double-sided tape, anything like that, I think it's personally, I think it's better on the paper. If you've had you know, any successes, I'd love to know what you're using with it. I don't use the tacky glue because with this being paper and with this being water-based, I found it bubbled up, and I hate, you know, it just didn't look very nice at all. So that is probably not the best glue to use for that, for the paper with the tacky glue. Okay, so I think I'm just going to wrap some string top to bottom. Let's see, there is a little bit of this left on here, so just going to cut 2 pieces of this red liner tape. Just check, so I want that on the outside, and it is that way up, so let's pop that across there and across there. We'll give it a good burnish down. Take these backs off, and we'll pop that onto there. I'm just going to go for 2. I'm trying not to pull my card too tight. Back in my little drawer down there. There we go. And then I can come in with some all-purpose glue, because we're on the back of that Miri card. Leave that lid off. Okay, I'm going to put some tacky glue in the corners. And just because I am slightly worried that that is going to lift up that string, I'm just going to take 2 pieces of red liner, just pop that over the top. It's going to stick to the other red liner underneath, so it should keep it really nice. And I probably should have done that before I started putting the glue on. Right, I'm going to leave those backs on because it's not going to hurt anything. And we're going to come across here. Just pop that on, pop that down. Just give that a good press because that string is making it want to pop. We'll check that again in a second. If I need to, what I might do to go in with another bit of red liner tape under there. I think it should be okay once it's set. Okay, so let's just pop down. Now you can put that under there. Okay, so for this one it's business as usual. This is the Kalau all-purpose tacky glue, which I normally buy from Crafter's Companion. Now what I will say is, if you are looking to get some of this glue, they have got their birthday, well, it's not a birthday week, it's a birthday fortnight coming up. And in the last couple of years, last 2 years at least, when I've been watching it, they have had a special offer for if you buy 3. So if you are looking to buy some of this and you want a good price for it, then it might be just worth popping over and seeing when if they have got that on offer. I'm not sure if it'll be the first week or the second week, or whether it'll be all 2 weeks. But this might be worth just checking that out. Okay, let's have a little look at this. Yeah, so let's see, will that come off? I'm not going to rip it, but what I am going to do is just grab a piece of this. So what I would suggest is just put a little bit of this red liner tape on the edge before you stick that down. I've just managed to slot that under, keep that pressed down, and that should be, yeah, that's much better. So just a bit of red liner tape along that edge if you're using string. If you're using ribbon, it's not usually a problem. But yeah, just because I've used that string and it's not chunky, it's really not chunky string, but for some reason it was just making it pop. But it's all sorted now, easily fixed. So let's grab the top sheet. So I was going to use this smaller image, that was the plan, because we've got the lovely big image underneath here. And I was going to come somewhere over there. For my other card, so I've got appreciate you so much, trust the unknown, wishing you strength for today and hope for tomorrow, which I think really goes with that topper. And then we've got a sent with love. I think I'm going to go with this appreciate you so much. Let's just pop that out. And then I'm just going to trim the pips off a little bit, so just where that was connected in there, they're just being a bit proud. So you can just use the edge of your scissors to trim them, knife, or you can just use a little nail file if you're just careful with it. Okay, so let's pop this out of here. And let's see how we want this to go. So we could go across like so. Let's have, I think it is going to have to be maybe with that bit raised, this bit flat underneath. Quite like that, to be fair. I want that under both, and then we'll have some clear gems over here. Okay, so what I can do is just pop a little bit of, just use a bit of tacky glue And then I'm just going to pop that one onto there. And I haven't gone right the way over to the edge because obviously that's going to be hanging over there. So just pick that up, make sure I've got that straight. In my little square one, see if that will shed a little bit of light on it for me. That's straight. Okay, so for this one I'm going to put some Crafter's Companion foam pads on. Obviously I'm not going to be able to put any here because of that string, so it's just going to be just in this section here and this section here. So let's just grab those, and these are probably about a 4mm, I would say. These are designed to be strips. Although I have got that little bit there, so let's just pop that one off. That might be a little bit too wide. Let me just go back in and cut that a bit narrower. That's a bit better, I think. Okay, so it's not a long strip. Pretty much going to be where we want that to be. Let's just try. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Just wondering whether I want to go a little bit more. So it might do, so just take another little piece. So I'm just going a little bit further up, just so that it's got as much support as I can give it. You know, I always like to put as many pads on as I can. Just love the support on them. There we go, so that's a little piece left over. Those in the bin. Okay, so let's take these backs off. Oops. Okay, and then we're just going to slot that behind where it should be. Press that down, so that's like so. And then I think I'm going to come over almost as far as I can on this one. So we've got this tricky one there. And just going to take a small piece to go there. I think that should be about there. So obviously this is going to come off the end a tad, so just don't put your foam pads right to that end. So I'm just going to go right about there, I feel. Okay, and then lastly I'm going to bring in these clear gems. Just going to keep this quite sort of neutral, so this could go for a girl or a boy, which is why we went with the string. So I'm going to go with 3 on this side, and these are already self-adhesive, so we'll have to use these tweezers to pop them up. And I think these ones came out of a Crafter's Companion box, so they are self-adhesive, but I just always put a little bit of glue behind them, just helps you put them in the right place, and make sure they stay there. And let's see, do I want any anywhere else? I'm going to put 2 at the bottom, but I'm going to go that way, and I'm going to put just little ones, tiny, tiny, teeny, tiny ones. Okay, so that's that one done. So because this is matte-tastic, you could go in with your glitters if you wanted to make it a bit more girly. My nephews tend to, I think I've said before, they hate it when I put glitter on a card now, because they just hate wearing it. So the insert you can either pop on there, sort of fold it in half, or you can pop it on the back, but that should go in a 6x6 envelope really nicely and easily. And like I say, you could put glitters if you've got a pen that allows you to put the glue on before you foil. You could even come in and add some beautiful foil into that with a fine tip pen, and it would look gorgeous. You could even do it on this side as well. But that's the first card, so we'll pop that to the side. And the second card, like I say, this is an idea in my head, so I'm hoping it's going to work out, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to bring in a piece of 300 GSM A4 card, and I'm going to start by cutting that to 6x6, because we are still aiming to make a 6x6 card. Okay, I'm also going to bring in another one of these Miri mats. Let's grab that out. And we will pop that on. So again, we're going to go 2 notches under the 6, 2 notches under the 6. Also going to bring out that piece that we had left over from here. So again, we want this to be 4 notches under the 6. And 4 notches under the 6, and that is going to be the back of our card, like so. Okay, that's the easy bit done. So for the next bit, I was toying with the idea of using this wood embossed card. So this came from Hunkydory years ago. It's like the only piece that I've got left that I found. I know it is adorable scoreable, and it came in lots of different colours. In the end, I decided I was just going to use some craft card, but you've got options if you've got any of this, or I know they did the craft card which I think had a gold pattern on of wood. That would look nice if you've got an embossing folder with wood and you want to use on here and make it look wood, maybe ink it. Obviously you've got them options there. I'm just going to keep this plain with just the craft card, because I think it's still going to work, because the craft card I've got is quite woodish. But obviously if you've got something else that's slightly better texture, or you fancy trying it with something else, go for it. Okay, so I'm going to cut this piece down to 6.5, so just the edge of my trimmer, and we're going to cut that off. And then what I want is 4 pieces that are 1/2 inch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I want 1 piece that is 1/2 inch again. Well, actually I want 2 of these, so another 2 are 1/2 inch, but then the length on them needs to be 4.5. bit there, 4.5. Should be the same. Yes. And then we want one piece. Let me go back to this one. It just needs to be 1/2 inch because we will need to cut it down. Okay, so let's pop that out of the way. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard, and all of these long pieces, the 4, that's a super long one, we need to score those at 1/2 inch. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. That one doesn't need scoring, that one doesn't need scoring. And then we're going to pop that out of the way. So let me just bend those back. And one there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put some of my all-purpose glue on the back of here, and I'm going to pop some glue on there, some tacky glue in those corners, because I want this to set quite quickly. So just get those borders nice and even. And then what I'm going to do is just spread these out, and I'm going to put a bit of red line tape on them, and let's see, so they're going to go behind. So if I pop them that way, I'm just going to put them on there. So I'm going to do that with all 4. I am going to be using tacky glue as well, but I just want a little bit of something on there just to give that bit of instant stick. Now I am going to say, just as a little caveat, in my head this is all quite structurally good. If it's not, what I may do is pop some acetate behind it, but I'm hoping that I shouldn't need to do that. Okay, now just another warning as well is just with red liner tape and craft card, sometimes because it is quite a fibrous card, it's not the easiest to get off, basically. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pop some red line, some tacky glue on there. I'm going to line up one of these pieces at the bottom, so we are using it for something else, but I just want that at the bottom to give me my first spacing. And then if I pop this on the top, move it along to my score, let's just make sure that's straight. And then that's my first one on. So I'm just going to move that up again, take the back off the next one. And to pick it up, just because it's going to be easier for me to do that, just hold it against it, slide it down and pop it on the back. Again, we'll move that across. And what I'm hoping this will look like when I'm done is it's going to look a bit like a gate, kind you see here sort of all the time in the British countryside. And there, I'm just going to see if I'm going to need that one on there. Thinking I might stick with the 3, and let me just see how that is going to look. I'll cut these down a bit more. There And we would have our one going across. Or if I want to go with the last one, let me just pop that in pretty much where it's going to go. I think that might be a little bit too high, so I thought it would be bigger, smaller than it was. Okay, so let me just grab my ruler, which is hiding behind the other ruler. So I'm just going to trim these down a bit more. So at the moment this is just above 3 inches, so I'm going to go to, I'm just going to trim those down a little bit more. And I'm going to take them to 3 1/4. Just double check that because my brain hurts. 3 1/4 is going to, yeah, I think 3 1/4 should be fine. 3 1/4. And I think they should be, yeah, that's nice. Okay, let's move that out of the way. So we only need 3 of these strips, unless you're doing a bigger card. Okay, just pop that there, because that's... And then I'm going to decide whether I want to sort of pointy them. But I think normally in our countryside we don't. So what I'm going to do first of all now is get this put onto the back, because when these go on they are going to be part of the support for the card, so I need that to go right down to the bottom of the card. Okay, so let's pop our all-purpose glue on there. Tacky glue, I'm just going to pop some on there as well. Like I say, with it being craft card, it is a bit fibrous. And the wet glues tend to be better for it. Okay, so that's where we are at the moment. And this has sort of been inspired by, there's a lot of lattice cards about at the moment. So that's what sort of inspired me with this, to be fair. Right, let's move that to, I think, this one looks a little bigger than that one. Just check. It's just a tiny bit, so I'm just going to even them up. So it's just about giving the card enough stability, but also I want it to kind of look a bit like a gate as well. So I think that should be fine. And then we're going to have our piece that comes across. I don't know if I'm going to go across the whole thing. Let's have a look at that. I think that does need to go over the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because I know I want that one there, so I'm going to put this one next to it, and then I can pop some tacky glue on there. So because I want this to stick straight away, I don't want it to be moving around, which it would do if we were using this glue. Okay, just be careful not to put too much on, that it comes on the other side, because that's not what we want. Okay, so let's just get that nice and straight again. And then this one, I think we're going to come a little further over. I think that should be fine. we're going to pop that on and make sure it's lined up with the bottom of the card, and that is going to go on like so. Okay. Now normally here in the UK you'd sort of have just one piece going across the gate bit, but what I'm going to do is, just to add that stability, I'm going to bring that across the whole thing. So it's going to take a little bit of clever gluing, I think, but if I pop some there, pop that on, doesn't matter, it goes over the edge because we can trim that down. And we will trim those edges, so we have got a bit there, but obviously we've got a sentiment to go on here as well, so plenty of things that we can hide that with. And then I'm just going to pop that over and trim from the back. Okay. Now, a moment of truth to see whether it does stand, and it does, yay. Okay, so happy with that. So if you have trouble with it standing, what you could do is pop it onto some acetate. I did think about doing some gold struts behind for extra strength, so that I would just have a tiny tinge of gold coming over the top. But I don't think it needs it, and I don't want to do it behind all of them, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. So but if you want to, then obviously that's another thing you can do as well, which will just give that extra bit of weight. But I'm happy with that. It's standing, it's doing what I want it to do. Okay, so I'm going to pop out this topper, because I kind of thought it looked the most like horses looking over a fence. And then we got the sentiment, so let's see, that's that one. Could just go with Sent with Love, I think. I think that's probably gonna, yeah, I think I'm gonna go like that. So we can come down a little bit. So let's just carefully fold that over. So I think what's going to be best to get this topper on how I want it to go on is pretty much to put the pad along there. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be the right kind of width. So I'm using the Crafter's Companion one. Let's see. Just get that down a little bit. And then before I take those backs off, I'll just check that that's in the right position. I think what I'm going to do as well is just pop that little piece on there. So we'll bring that topper down so that it looks like their heads are well and truly over this gate. We'll put some tacky glue on. It's going to give us that bit of wiggle room. And I just want to try and get this. So I'm getting nervous now. It's quite straight, I think. And about there. Yep. Okay. And then this one could go up the top. No, I think it needs to go at the bottom. So we'll bring in a slimmer pad for that one. We'll use this Hunkydory one, probably about 1mm, I think. I think it's pretty much going to be okay along there. Oops. Scissors are alive. There we go. Across. And then again I'm going to come in with these clear gems. Just get rid of that rubbish. Let's see. How should we have them? I think what I'm going to do is just do a random placing on these. So 5, 8, 9. Okay. And then if I grab these. I'm just using the mediums and the smalls on here. One just went flying across the room. Okay. Oops. Dive. There we go. That needs to get back on there. So I've got 9 on there, which is an odd number, so I am happy with that. So that will stand up quite nicely, she says. What's sticking? No, nothing there. So I don't know. So it will stand up on a mantelpiece quite nicely. It's got enough structure there to be able to do that. So just a little bit of a different take on that one. So let me bring in that first card that I did, the sort of easier one if you like, although with that string it did turn out to cause me more problems than I thought it would do. Anyhow, they're all fixed now. So those are the first two, and that's from Trust the Unknown. Like I say, wood embossing folder, and then maybe a bit of brown ink over that as well. I mean, that would really pick that up and pick up on those colours behind as well. I'm sure you can think of other ways in which to add on that. It's just an idea that I had. Like I say, there's a lot of lattice cards about at the moment, and I'm really taken to it. Gina Kay did a beautiful one with cards coming across, and I think that would really, with the things coming across, sorry, and I think that would really lend itself to that rainbow of flowers, you know, because you sort of have the flowers going up trellis and things. So yeah, definitely something I want to try again on a bigger scale, not just a little gate. But that's it for today. So 2 quite quick cards, really, surprisingly quicker than I thought they would be. But that's my first play with this kit, so I will come back with this kit again next time, and I'm going to use these ones. Like I say, it is a beautiful kit, matte-tastic, like I said, but even with the little teeth marks in that I've got for it. But thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time. Happy crafting. Bye.